The day the aliens came changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning when Alan Wright noticed something odd on his monitors at the Europa space station. At first he thought it was just another space debris alert, but the pattern was too regular, too deliberate. "Hey Sam, take a look at this," Alan called to his colleague. Sam Harris walked over, coffee mug in hand, and leaned in to see the screen. "That's not natural," Sam said after a moment. "Those signals are repeating in prime number sequences." Alan nodded. "Exactly what I was thinking. We need to call Houston." Within hours, the signal was being analyzed by every major space agency on Earth. Dr. Olivia Carter, NASA's head of xenocommunications, confirmed what everyone suspected but few dared say aloud. Humanity had received its first message from an extraterrestrial civilization. President Susan Miller was woken at 3 a.m. with the news. By sunrise, she had assembled her crisis team in the White House Situation Room. "So what exactly are they saying?" the president asked, looking tired but alert. Dr. Carter projected a series of mathematical formulas onto the screen. "It's an invitation, Madam President. They call themselves the Galactic Confederation. According to this message, they represent over 300 spacefaring species, and they want Earth to join them." General Patricia Jones frowned. "An invitation? Just like that? I don't like it." "The message includes coordinates for a landing site in Switzerland," Dr. Carter continued. "They'll arrive in 3 weeks." The news spread across the globe like wildfire. Humans reacted with everything from religious fervor to panic. Stock markets plunged, then soared as companies with space-related technologies saw their values triple overnight. World leaders tried to project calm while frantically preparing for first contact. In Geneva, a massive landing pad was constructed according to the specifications in the alien message. Military forces from 20 nations surrounded the site, though they kept a respectful distance as requested. When the day finally came, over 1 billion people watched the live stream as a sleek silver ship descended from the clouds. The ship was beautiful, with no visible engines or exhaust. It touched down without a sound. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Then a door appeared in the smooth hull, and 3 beings emerged. They looked almost human, except for their blue-tinted skin and large almond-shaped eyes. The tallest one stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Zorix of the Centauri Coalition, representing the Galactic Confederation," it said in perfect English. "We come with an offer of friendship and progress for Earth." The human delegation, led by UN Secretary-General Catherine Brown, stepped forward. "We welcome you to Earth and look forward to peaceful relations between our worlds." The formal greetings continued, but it was at the private meeting afterward that the true nature of the visit became clear. "Earth has been observed for centuries," Ambassador Zorix explained to the shocked human representatives. "Your development has been tracked and categorized according to Confederation standards." "Categorized?" asked Secretary General Brown. "Yes. Earth is currently classified as a Type 0.7 civilization, advanced enough to be noticed but still developing. The Confederation offers membership to promising species such as yours, with appropriate guidance." Dr. William Hayes, sitting next to Brown, leaned forward. "What exactly does membership entail?" The terms were laid out over the next hour. Earth would receive limited access to alien medical technology that could cure most diseases. Humans would be permitted to establish 1 outpost on Mars. In exchange, Earth would need to place its military development under Confederation oversight. All technological breakthroughs would need to be shared with the Confederation. And each continent would host a permanent alien embassy with complete diplomatic immunity. The human delegation listened in growing disbelief. "Let me make sure I understand," Secretary General Brown said when Ambassador Zorix finished speaking. "You want us to give up our independence in exchange for what amounts to a few technological trinkets?" The alien seemed surprised by her reaction. "This is a standard integration package for a civilization at your level. Most species are grateful for the opportunity." "Most species, perhaps," Brown replied coldly, "but not humans." The news of the true offer spread quickly through government channels. When President Miller received the full briefing, she called an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. "They're not here as friends," she told the assembled world leaders. "They see us as primitives to be controlled." The Chinese president nodded grimly. "The terms are unacceptable. We did not survive thousands of years of human history to become pets of some galactic empire." For the next week, Earth's governments worked together with unusual harmony. Scientists analyzed what little alien technology they had been allowed to see. Military leaders developed contingency plans. Diplomats crafted careful responses. When Ambassador Zorix requested a formal answer, Secretary General Brown delivered it personally at the UN headquarters in New York. "After careful consideration," she said, with cameras broadcasting to both Earth and the alien delegation, "we must decline your current offer. The terms as presented would require humanity to surrender too much of its self-determination. We are open to continued discussion on more equal terms." Ambassador Zorix blinked slowly. An expression the humans had learned indicated surprise. "You decline? No species has ever declined initial membership terms." "Then perhaps," Brown replied, with a small smile, "you have never encountered humans before." The alien delegation withdrew to their ship without further comment. That evening, the ship lifted off, returning to the larger vessel waiting beyond Earth's moon. 3 days later, a new message arrived. The Galactic Confederation wished to send a diplomatic team to discuss revised terms for Earth's membership. They seemed genuinely puzzled by humanity's refusal. "They don't understand us at all," President Miller said to her advisors as they prepared for the next round of talks. "They expected us to be grateful, to bow down." Her chief of staff nodded. "So what's our next move, Madam President?" Miller looked out the window at the night sky, where somewhere beyond the stars alien diplomats were frantically revising their assumptions about humanity. "We show them exactly who they're dealing with," she said quietly. "And we don't back down. Not 1 inch." 6 months passed since the first contact with the Galactic Confederation. During that time, Earth underwent rapid changes. Old enemies became allies against a possible alien threat. The International Space Station was expanded to serve as a neutral meeting ground for the upcoming negotiations. Ambassador Richard Clark stood by the observation window of the newly constructed diplomatic module. At 62, he had spent his life in foreign service, but nothing had prepared him for representing humanity to alien civilizations. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said Dr. Nancy Wong as she joined him. The brilliant physicist had been selected for her understanding of advanced technology, which might help Earth gain an edge in negotiations. "It reminds me how small we are," Richard replied, watching Earth below them. "And yet, we're about to argue with beings who cross the stars as easily as we cross oceans." Colonel Stephen Adams, the third member of Earth's core negotiating team, entered the module. "They're on approach. 5 minutes until docking." The 3 humans straightened their formal attire and prepared to meet the Galactic Council's expansion committee. This time, the aliens had sent higher-ranking officials, a sign they were taking Earth's resistance seriously. The airlock hissed open. 3 aliens entered, each from a different species. The tallest had gray skin and eyes that seemed to analyze everything mathematically. A Thracian, according to the briefing materials. Beside it stood a rotund creature with orange scales, a merchant Volcran. The third alien was thin with feathery appendages, an Iridian scholar. "Welcome aboard," Richard said with a diplomatic smile. "I am Ambassador Clark. These are my colleagues, Dr. Wong and Colonel Adams." The gray alien stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Exar of the Thracian Collective, representing the Galactic Confederation's Expansion Committee. We have reviewed your rejection of our initial proposal and have come to offer improved terms." The meeting moved to the conference room. Earth's team sat on one side, the aliens on the other. Above them, cameras transmitted the proceedings to government leaders worldwide. "Let us begin," Exar said, activating a holographic display between them. "The Confederation is prepared to reclassify Earth as a Type 0.8 civilization, allowing for expanded privileges." "What exactly does that mean in practical terms?" Richard asked. "You would be permitted to establish outposts on 3 planets in your solar system instead of just 1. Additionally, We would provide medical technology that could extend human lifespans by 50 years. Nancy leaned forward. And what would Earth need to give in return? The orange-scaled Volcran answered. Merely access to your oceans for mineral extraction. The resources there would be valuable to certain Confederation species. Our oceans? Colonel Adams said sharply. You want to mine Earth's oceans? The process is non-invasive, the Volcran assured them. Only trace elements would be removed. Your marine life would hardly notice our presence. The three humans exchanged glances. They had expected something like this. High Counselor, Richard said carefully. While we appreciate the improved offer, it still treats Earth as a junior partner rather than an equal. We seek full membership with equal voting rights in Confederation matters. XR's eyes blinked rapidly. Impossible. No species at your development level has ever been granted such status. The mathematical models do not support it. Perhaps your models need updating, Nancy suggested. Humanity has a unique development path compared to other species you've encountered. The negotiations continued for hours. Each time Earth's representatives pushed for equality, the aliens responded with slight improvements to their offer while maintaining the fundamental inequality. By the end of the first day, little progress had been made. As the alien delegation returned to their ship to rest, Earth's team conferred with world leaders via secure channel. They're not budging on the core issue, Richard told President Miller. They're willing to offer us more trinkets, but not a seat at the table. The President's face looked tired on the screen. Then we proceed with Plan B. Dr. Wong, is your team ready? Nancy nodded. We've reverse-engineered some principles from their communication technology. It's given us promising leads for our own development. And, Colonel, how is the defense grid progressing? On schedule, Madam President. The first satellites will be in position within 3 months, completely hidden from standard detection methods. Good, President Miller said. Let's see if we can get anything more from these talks, but prepare for self-reliance. The negotiations resumed the next morning. This time, the Iridian scholar took the lead. We have consulted with the full council. Overnight, it said in a melodious voice. In recognition of humanity's unusual development rate, we offer a special arrangement. Earth would be granted observer status in non-sensitive Confederation meetings, with potential for increased participation after a probationary period of 50 years. Richard maintained his diplomatic smile. And what would constitute non-sensitive meetings? Cultural exchanges, certain trade discussions, academic conferences, the Iridian listed. Military matters, advanced technology sharing, and territorial disputes would remain restricted until your civilization reaches full maturity. And who determines when we reach full maturity? Colonel Adams asked. The Confederation has standard metrics based on thousands of years of observing developing species, XR cut in. It is a mathematical certainty. The day ended with more proposals and counter-proposals, but the fundamental divide remained. The aliens could not comprehend why humans wouldn't accept their hierarchical system. The humans refused to accept second-class status. On the third day, Richard delivered Earth's final position. The people of Earth have considered your offers carefully, he said formally. We appreciate the Confederation's interest in our world. However, we cannot accept membership on terms that limit our sovereignty or self-determination. Earth is prepared to establish diplomatic relations as equals or not at all. The alien delegation was visibly shocked. The Volcran's scales changed color rapidly. The Iridian's feathers trembled. Even the logical XR seemed at a loss. This defies all precedent, XR finally said. Your position is irrational. From your perspective, perhaps, Richard replied calmly. From ours, it is the only rational choice. The aliens departed that afternoon, promising to return with the Galactic Council's response. As their ship pulled away from the station, Nancy joined Richard at the observation window. Do you think they'll come back with a better offer? She asked. Richard watched the alien ship growing smaller against the backdrop of stars. I think they'll come back, but not with what we want. They don't understand us at all. Then what happens next? Colonel Adams answered from the doorway. We make sure that when they do come back, they find a humanity they can't ignore. A full year passed since the aliens left. Earth changed in ways few could have imagined before first contact. Nations that had fought for centuries now worked together. The old borders still existed on maps, but their meaning had faded as humanity, united against a possible threat from the stars. In a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Nancy Wong stared at the device on her lab table. It was small, no bigger than a coffee mug, but it represented months of work by her international team of scientists. "Is it ready?" asked Gregory Foster, who had joined the project 6 months ago. Before the aliens came, he had been the CEO of the world's largest tech company. Now he led a global consortium of manufacturers building new technology. "I think so," Nancy replied, carefully connecting the final wire. "If we're right about the principles we observed in their communication devices, this should create a quantum encryption field that even the Confederation can't break." She pressed a small button on the side of the device. It hummed softly. Screens around the lab displayed streams of data as the testing systems tried to penetrate the encryption. "It works," Gregory said after a minute, reading the results. "None of our systems can crack it, not even the ones based on alien math principles." Nancy smiled tightly. "One small step for humanity. Let's just hope it's enough." Similar breakthroughs were happening across the globe. In Brazil, scientists had developed new energy systems. In Kenya, advanced agricultural methods had been created to ensure food security in case of isolation. In Japan, manufacturing techniques had evolved to build components that were previously impossible. President Miller received daily updates on these advancements. She sat in the Oval Office with her Security Council, reviewing the latest report. "Colonel Adams says the first phase of the planetary defense grid is operational," her chief of staff informed her. "It remains undetectable using the scanning methods we observed from the alien ships. And our space program? We've established permanent bases on the Moon and Mars. The first mining operations in the asteroid belt will begin next month." The president nodded. "And still no word from the Confederation?" "Nothing since they left. Our deep space monitoring stations haven't detected any approaching ships." "They'll be back," Miller said confidently. "And when they come, we'll be ready." As if her words had summoned them, the alert came 3 days later. Multiple alien ships had entered the solar system, far more than before. The Galactic Confederation was returning, and this time they had brought a fleet. Earth did not panic. The plan had been prepared for months. When the aliens requested a meeting, Earth agreed but suggested a different location, the new human base, on Mars. It was a subtle message. Humans had expanded beyond their first world despite being denied permission. The alien delegation was led by High Counselor XR again, but he seemed different now. His manner was less certain, his eyes constantly scanning the human-built structure around him. "Your people have been busy," he noted, as Earth's representatives led him through the Mars base. "This facility exceeds the expected development timeline for your species." "We work well under pressure," Ambassador Clark replied with a polite smile. The meeting began formally in a conference room overlooking the red Martian landscape. The human team had expanded to include Gregory Foster and Dr. Laura Harris, who had led the energy research team. "The Galactic Council has reviewed your position at length," XR began. "After much debate, we can offer Earth Development Status Type 0.9 with limited self-governance of your solar system, provided you accept Confederation oversight for all extraterrestrial activities." Richard listened to the offer without expression. "And what does oversight mean exactly?" "Confederation observers would need to approve all major space development projects. Military activities beyond Earth's orbit would be restricted. Resource extraction would require permits." The humans exchanged glances. Despite a year of preparation and advancement, the aliens still saw them as inferiors to be managed. "We take it the fleet you brought with you is meant to show the consequences of refusal?" Colonel Adams asked bluntly. The Iridian representative fluttered its feathers nervously. "Not at all. The ships are merely a standard peacekeeping formation, here to assist with the integration process." "I see," said President Miller, who had decided to attend this meeting personally. "Then perhaps it's time for us to make our position absolutely clear." She nodded to Dr. Harris, who opened a secure channel to Earth. "Activate Phoenix Protocol," she said simply. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien representatives stiffened as they received urgent communications from their fleet. "What have you done?" XR demanded, his usual calm shattered. President Miller smiled. "We've revealed some of our own developments. Your ships are currently detecting energy signatures they didn't expect from a Type 0.7 civilization, aren't they?" On screens around the conference room, images appeared showing what was happening across the solar system. Hidden installations on Earth's moon activated, creating a defensive energy grid around the planet. In the asteroid belt, concealed hangars opened to reveal ships of human design, built with technology partly inspired by studying the aliens' own vessels. "We hoped for friendship between equals," President Miller said calmly. "But we prepared for all possibilities." Gregory Foster stood and activated a holographic display in the center of the room. "This is a live feed from one of our new vessels," he explained. "It's approaching a small, uninhabited planetoid in the Kuiper Belt." The aliens watched in shocked silence as the human ship positioned itself near the distant space rock. A beam of energy lanced out from the vessel, enveloping the planetoid. Within seconds, the rock compressed, cracked, and shattered into countless pieces. "A controlled gravitational compression device," Dr. Harris explained. "One of many technologies we've developed this past year." XR's gray skin had paled to almost white. "This is not possible. Your development timeline, the mathematical models, were wrong," Richard finished for him. "Humanity doesn't follow your expected patterns. We never have." The Iridian scholar's feathers were fully extended in what humans now recognized as an expression of extreme alarm. "The Council must be informed immediately." "By all means," President Miller agreed. "And when you speak to them, make our position clear. Earth will join the Galactic Confederation as an equal member with full rights, or we will continue our development independently. Those are the only options on the table." The alien delegation departed in disarray, rushing back to their ships. Within hours, the Confederation fleet had retreated to the edge of the solar system, maintaining a safe distance from Earth's revealed defenses. "Do you think they'll attack?" Colonel Adams asked as they watched the aliens withdraw. "No," Richard replied confidently. "They're bureaucrats, not warriors. They'll return to the Council for new instructions. The mathematical models they worship just failed spectacularly. They need to recalculate." President Miller looked out at the red Martian landscape, then up at the stars beyond. "And when they come back, they'll find that humanity has advanced even further." 2 weeks passed since the demonstration that sent the alien fleet retreating to the edge of the solar system. On Earth, celebrations mixed with nervous preparation. Humanity had revealed its strength, but everyone knew the Galactic Confederation would respond. In an underground command center beneath Nairobi, Colonel Stephen Adams studied the holographic display of the solar system. Small blue dots represented human installations and ships. The cluster of red dots at the system's edge showed the waiting alien fleet. "They haven't moved in 5 days," he told President Miller over the secure video link. "Just sitting there watching us." "And our deep space communications?" the president asked. "We've detected massive signal traffic between their fleet and what we believe is the galactic capital. They're having quite a debate about us." The president nodded. "Good. Let them debate. Every day gives us more time to strengthen our position." Dr. Laura Harris joined the call from the lunar base, where she oversaw the expansion of Earth's defensive grid. "Madam President, we've completed installation of the energy shield around the Mars colony. If they decide to attack, our main outposts are now protected." "Excellent work, Doctor. And Gregory, how are our ships coming along?" Gregory Foster appeared on a third screen from the asteroid belt's main shipyard. Behind him, workers assembled vessels that would have seemed impossible a year ago. "We've completed 6 more destroyers this week, Not enough to match their fleet in numbers, but our technology is advancing quickly. The alien designs gave us ideas, but our improvements make our ships more efficient. Keep pushing, Miller encouraged. Admiral, what's your assessment if they attack now? Admiral Paul Rivera, the newly appointed commander of Earth's Space Forces, frowned thoughtfully. We could defend Earth and our major colonies, but it would be costly. Their numbers are still overwhelming. If they commit to a full assault, they would eventually break through. Then we need to make sure they don't attack, Miller said firmly. Ambassador Clark, you've been studying their psychology. What's your read on the situation? Richard Clark was in Geneva, working with a team of anthropologists who studied the alien cultures. They're deeply confused, Madam President. Their entire civilization runs on mathematical predictions and established patterns. Humanity's development speed and our refusal to follow their hierarchy has thrown their system into chaos. Can we use that to our advantage? I believe so. Their reluctance to attack may stem from inability to predict the outcome. Uncertainty terrifies them. The meeting continued as Earth's leaders refined their strategy. Unlike the old days when countries kept secrets from each other, now all nations work together, sharing information and resources against the common challenge. 3 days later, the waiting ended. A single alien ship detached from the fleet and approached Earth, broadcasting a request for a meeting. This time they asked to meet at the neutral United Nations headquarters in Geneva, a subtle acknowledgement of human sovereignty. The message named High Counselor Exar as the representative, but when the ship landed, a different alien emerged. This one was taller than any they had seen before, with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. I am Grand Arbiter Zolara of the Galactic Council, it announced to the human delegation. The situation with Earth has been elevated to the highest levels of our government. Ambassador Clark stepped forward. Welcome to Earth, Grand Arbiter. I am Richard Clark, Earth's chief diplomat for extraterrestrial affairs. The meeting took place in the Grand Assembly Hall. Unlike previous meetings, this one was broadcast live, across the planet. The aliens had finally realized that humans made decisions collectively, not through secret elite discussions. The Galactic Council has been in emergency session for 12 standard cycles. Zolara began. Your species has created a situation without precedent in our 12,000 years of expansion. We simply wish to determine our own destiny, Richard replied calmly. By developing weapons capable of destroying worlds? The Grand Arbiter asked sharply. By developing technology that ensures our independence, Richard corrected. Humanity has always advanced fastest when challenged. Your arrival and subsequent offers of restricted membership pushed us to accelerate our progress. Solara's silver face was hard to read, but its tone conveyed frustration. The Council has reviewed all possible options. Some members suggested a preemptive strike to contain the Earth threat. Others proposed a complete quarantine of your solar system. The human delegation remained outwardly calm, though Richard knew military forces worldwide had just gone to their highest alert level. Neither option seems conducive to peaceful relations, he observed. Indeed, Zolara agreed. Which is why the Council has authorized me to present a different solution. The alien activated a holographic display showing complex text in the Confederation's universal language. This is a proposal for Earth's full membership in the Galactic Confederation, with equal voting rights and unrestricted development within your solar system. A murmur ran through the human delegation. After all the rejected offers and counteroffers, the aliens were finally offering what Earth had demanded from the beginning. What changed your minds? President Miller asked directly. Zolara seemed to hesitate before answering. Our standard integration protocols are based on patterns observed across hundreds of species over thousands of years. Your development does not match any known pattern. The mathematical models failed. And this concerns you, Richard guessed. It terrifies us, Zolara admitted with surprising honesty. A species that can advance from primitive radio signals to gravitational weapons in less than a century defies all predictive models. If we cannot predict your development, we cannot control it. Therefore, Integration as equals becomes the logical choice. The human delegation asked for time to review the specifics of the offer. While translators and legal experts examined the document, President Miller conferred with Richard in private. "Do you think they're sincere?" she asked. "I do," Richard replied. "Not because they suddenly respect us, but because they fear us. They've realized that trying to control humanity would be like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter they squeeze, the more we slip through their fingers. So we accept? With appropriate safeguards, yes. Equal membership gives us access to their knowledge while protecting our independence. It's what we wanted all along." When the delegation reconvened, Richard addressed the Grand Arbiter. "Earth is prepared to accept full membership, provided certain clarifications are made to the agreement. We will not compromise our sovereignty or our right to self-defense." Solara nodded. The Council anticipated this response. "We are authorized to negotiate specific terms, so long as the basic framework remains intact." For the first time since the aliens arrived, there was a sense that real progress was being made. As word spread across Earth that full membership was on the table, people began to look to the stars not with fear, but with anticipation. The message was clear. Humanity would join the galactic community, but on its own terms. The species that had learned to walk upright on the African savanna was now ready to walk among the stars as equals. 1 month after the meeting with Grand Arbiter Zolara, the formal ceremony to welcome Earth into the Galactic Confederation was held. The United Nations headquarters in New York had been transformed for the occasion. Delegates from every human nation gathered in the General Assembly Hall, joined by representatives from 30 different alien species. Ambassador Richard Clark stood at the center of the human delegation. Beside him, President Miller represented Earth's political leadership, while Dr. Nancy Wong and Gregory Foster symbolized humanity's scientific and technological achievements. Colonel Adams and Admiral Rivera stood in formal military dress, reminders of Earth's determination to defend itself. The alien delegation was led by Zolara, whose silver skin gleamed under the lights. High Counselor XR was there too, looking distinctly uncomfortable. The Iridian and Vulcan representatives who had once dismissed human demands now watched with nervous respect. "Today marks a historic moment," Zolara began, addressing the Assembly in the Confederation's formal diplomatic language now translated for all humans present. "For the first time in 12,000 years, the Galactic Confederation welcomes a new member without the standard integration process." Richard stepped forward when it was his turn to speak. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we accept membership in the Galactic Confederation as equal partners in the community of spacefaring civilizations. We look forward to sharing knowledge, resources, and friendship with all species who approach us with respect." The signing ceremony was brief but meaningful. The treaty that Earth signed bore little resemblance to the original offers. Humanity would maintain complete sovereignty over the solar system. Knowledge exchange would be reciprocal and comprehensive. Earth would immediately receive a voting seat on all major Confederation councils and committees. When the formal part concluded, the gathering shifted to a reception where humans and aliens mingled more casually. Richard found himself approached by XR, who seemed to have something to say. "Your species continues to surprise us," the Thracian admitted. "Our analysts predicted a 97.3% likelihood that you would accept our original offer." Richard smiled politely. "Perhaps your analysts need to spend more time studying human history. We've never responded well to being told our place." "A fact we now understand all too well," XR replied. "The Confederation's evaluation system failed to account for human, what would you call it? Stubbornness, determination, or perhaps simply the desire for freedom." Across the room, Dr. Wong was deep in conversation with scientists from 3 different worlds. Already they were finding common ground, sharing ideas that might benefit all their species. Gregory Foster had gathered a group of alien engineers around him, explaining human manufacturing techniques that had puzzled them. President Miller joined Richard, watching the interactions with satisfaction. "Quite a change from their first visit," she observed. "Now they actually listen when we speak." "Fear is a powerful motivator," Richard replied quietly. But I hope that in time it will be replaced by genuine respect. Do you think they'll ever truly understand us? Richard considered the question. Probably not entirely. Their civilization is built on predictability and hierarchy. Ours thrives on innovation and equality. But perhaps that's the beauty of this arrangement. We don't need to be the same to work together. 2 weeks later, the first human delegation prepared to visit the galactic capital. A specially designed ship waited in orbit, built using a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology. 100 representatives from Earth would make the journey, chosen for their expertise in various fields. Dr. Laura Harris would lead the scientific team. "I still can't believe we're going," she told Colonel Adams as they supervised the loading of research equipment. 2 years ago, we were debating whether alien life existed at all. Now we're visiting their capital. Just remember why we're in this position, the colonel cautioned. They didn't invite us because they liked us. I know, Laura agreed, but that doesn't make it any less exciting. On the day of departure, thousands gathered to watch the event on massive screens in cities worldwide. The sleek ship, named Unity, prepared to activate its new drive system that would carry humans faster than light for the first time. On the bridge, Richard Clark sat beside Captain Elizabeth Johnson, who would command the vessel. "Ready to make history?" she asked with a smile. "We've been making history since they first arrived," Richard replied. "This is just the next chapter." The ship departed Earth's orbit smoothly. As it reached the edge of the solar system, it paused. The waiting alien escort vessels moved into formation around it, not as guards but as guides. "Unity to Earth Control. We are ready for interstellar jump," Captain Johnson reported. "Earth Control to Unity. You are cleared for departure," came the response from Houston. "Make us proud." The stars blurred as the ship accelerated beyond light speed. Humanity had taken its first step into the wider galaxy. Back on Earth, President Miller held a final meeting with her advisors before addressing the world. "The Confederation's assessment teams are already arriving," her chief of staff reported. "They seem genuinely interested in learning how we developed so quickly." "Give them limited access," Miller instructed. "Friendship doesn't mean we reveal all our secrets." Admiral Rivera nodded in agreement. "We'll continue building our fleet and defenses. Trust but verify, as the old saying goes. What do you think?" "We'll find out there?" asked a young aide still awed by recent events. The president looked thoughtful. Allies, enemies, trading partners, new worlds to explore. But most importantly, a chance to show the galaxy who humans really are. Across the solar system, humanity continued its expansion. The Mars colony doubled in size. New outposts were established on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The asteroid belt buzzed with mining operations and construction yards building the next generation of ships. Earth itself was changing too. New technologies improved daily life. The knowledge that humans were not alone in the universe had shifted. Perspectives on old conflicts, making them seem smaller and less important. As news spread throughout the Confederation about Earth's unusual entry into the galactic community, other developing species took note. The humans had achieved in decades what took most species centuries, and they had done it by refusing to accept anything less than equality. In the grand meeting halls of the galactic capital, the news was discussed with mixtures of alarm and admiration. The species that had mastered fire only 10,000 years ago now sat at the table with civilizations millions of years old, and the humans showed no signs of slowing down. They were just getting started.